So I don't know how much it's picking it up because, of course, the second I set up, maintenance is using snow blowers to clear sand off of the other pavilions. So today I'm going to be plying actually, and I've got my bag of spindles. I think since I'm just sitting cross-legged instead of in a chair, I'm just going to use this little dish for my support spindles instead of my spoon, which is normally what I use, but this is usually better for when I'm in a chair. So I'm just going to use a bowl today. We're applying 3 spindles today. 2 of these are the same one. I got them at different times from a local fiber festival. I'm pretty sure these are available on Etsy. I quite like these actually. Applying from 3 supported spindles is a little tricky. I just kind of hold it and do my best, but it is a little messy. I'm going to be plying on my Spanish peacock today. You can't see the bottom of the whirl with the bowl, but I suppose that's all right. I've seen some people like to tie knots to secure the end to their spindles, but I just hate tying knots in yarn, just in general. I like to tension the yarn just in my fingers. I did a couple months ago acquire a tensioned lazy Kate that was a gift from someone as part of a whole bunch of spinning wheel stuff that she gave me. And I have found I do quite like the tensioned lazy Kate, but still kind of feel like it's unnecessary. You don't have to have one of those, but it is nice. Tensioning with my fingers is usually enough. I was talking to some of the ladies at my guild, and we were kind of all thinking that none of us really particularly feels like participating in the competition side of Tour de Fleece. We all kind of just felt like we wanted to make a point of spinning more rather than keeping track of yardage and trying to join a group and spin as much as possible. I've been spinning for 2 years now, and I had started just before a Tour de Fleece. And so I was aware of it because of all of the videos and such. But as a beginner, I certainly wasn't ready to participate, though it sounded interesting. And last year, I didn't plan for it, but still kind of felt similarly. I didn't really feel like competing for yardage so much. And just turned it into like a spin more frequently sort of situation. I keep pushing it back. I think, oh, maybe I'll decide to compete someday and I'll keep track of all of my yardage, which I generally do, except for these supported spindles, unless I'm spinning for something specifically. I do tend to like to keep track of all of my yardage and my information, but not for the sake of competition so much. This year, instead of doing this thing that I keep putting it off, I thought maybe instead I would continue with this idea of just making a point of spinning a whole bunch. But instead of just spinning, I thought maybe I would combine it with more bike stuff. Tour de Fleece is, of course, following Tour de France, which is a serious bike race that I frankly don't know anything about, to be fair. I'm not really interested in watching competitive anything for the most part, but I do like to ride my bike. I've been kind of accidentally ramping up all of my cycling lately and trying to do multiple rides a week if I can. And it just so happened to coincide with Tour de Fleece and Tour de France. And I thought, well, maybe why not combine bike riding and spinning if it's possible, which I don't know how well it's going to work out. It tends to be kind of muggy in our region, and spinning loose fiber might be kind of rough, hence, well, part of the reason why we're plying today, but also just because I want to empty these spindles and spin on it more. I just noticed I have a curlicue, so that's really, really fun. Let's fix that. I said tensioning with hands only is fine, but sometimes it does not work as well as I would like. But that's okay. So I think that's what I want to do for Tour de Fleece this year. I think I'm just going to make a point of riding my bike. I'm going to spin with hand tools, preferably when I'm out on a bike ride at some point, and kind of treat that as my Tour de Fleece activity and not make it about competition or yardage or anything like that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to make a video for every week. So let's be honest, the last time I made a video was 6 months ago. So I think every week is probably going to be a little bit too ambitious for me, but I thought I would try to show different places that I like to ride my bike and spin somewhere in each of those places as part of it, and hopefully finish off the rest of this braid with hand tools, and then some other fiber crafts and spinning on my wheels on the side as well. This week is actually the week before Tour de Fleece starts, but I happen to be in kind of an interesting location, so I figured why not start while I'm here. We're at the beach with my husband's family, and I brought a whole bunch of fiber things to do while I'm here. Compared to back home, since we're on the beach, it's very flat here. And there's a solid, I think it's like 8.5 mile loop if you go from one end to where there's a nature preserve without entering to kind of the entrance of the area where we are at the beach. But it can be extended. I think if you do the full loop from one end as far as you can go to the reserve to the other end, which is just part of a neighborhood, I think that's about 12 miles. They've added a short 1 mile separate bike path segment that ends at a little like coffee shop cart sort of thing. So there's like, it's not the hugest, it's not like the longest, best place to ride ever. It gets, frankly, a little bit boring with the flats, which is not something I generally would think that I would say particularly. But it is useful for just trying to keep an even cadence and speed and work on those top speeds. And there's certainly plenty of interesting houses to look at. Having my 3 spindles sitting in a little bag to the side of me, I think it's a nylon bag, is actually working pretty well. They're mostly staying in place and they're sliding okay. Normally they kind of tend to jump around a little bit, but this is working much better than it usually does. As you can see, it's a little bit windy. I don't feel like I'm done with this ply quite yet. I normally like to fill it up a good deal more, but it kind of seems like there's a bunch of work vehicles coming over here. So I think I might move and either find another spot or just continue on my ride. So let's pack up these loose ends, I think. the next day, and it's supposed to get really hot in the next few days. So my thought is, if I want to get any cycling done, I'm gonna have to get out really early. I mean, it's not that early, it's like, I don't know, 8:20 at this point. But I'm gonna try to get my cycling done before the hottest points of today. So the trail I want to do today is one I've never actually done before. It's the Back Bay Preserve Wildlife Refuge, and there's a trail that goes almost all the way down to North Carolina. I probably won't get that far because it's 15 miles out, and frankly I don't think I'm in shape currently to do a 30-mile ride at this point, but who knows. I have plenty of water, so let's see how it goes. I stopped by the visitor center to ask some questions about the quality of the trail and any recommendations or whatever, but they're closed today. So I downloaded the map and I took a look, and it looks like there's going to be a loop that I guess I can go on that's marked as a hiker trail. So hopefully it's not sand or gravel, because I don't think my bike can handle that. But for now, we're next to like a bunch of flowers and wildlife area. Let's look at some flowers. Okay, so the trail's not bad. The gravel's a little coarser than I think I'm used to with my 38 tires, I think. But, like, it's fine. The only thing is, this section is closed, but I think there's a section off to the right, so I think we're gonna try that one instead. Okay, it seems like I went to a dead end, so I'll have to turn around. But I did find this area. This is kind of cool. We tend to see a number of these over where we live. We see what I think are blue herons over near our house. And also sometimes these guys, the night herons, which they're funny because they look like they have a short neck, but actually it squishes in on itself, and then they shoot their necks out to whatever it is they're going to catch. Really weird looking birds. Oh, it's so bumpy. She's stalking something. Maybe. Oh, but you also can see these little white blurs at 5x zoom. Those are native water lilies, apparently. I keep showing you the same bird because they're all over the place, but I just think they're beautiful. Look at their funny little necks. Also, it's just lovely out here, and there's a car coming. Alright, we've got this one, and then we've got this one. I'm gonna go check the map and see where I want to go next. Okay, so this is a little confusing, but apparently This is a different part from what I was just in. And I think there's no like you are here symbol or anything, but I see that up here it says that's north, which is where I came from. I'm traveling generally south. So I think I should be kind of somewhere around here-ish. So I think I'm going to travel on the Sandy Point Trail because it looks kind of cool. And maybe I'll go see what that gift shop is. And I don't know, maybe I'll continue all the way through. I'm only 8 miles out. Um, I guess we'll kind of see how I feel. I have my camp chair. I can take my time. So let's see where we go next, I suppose. This is all new to me. It's exciting. I made it to this landmark here. There is a visitor center and they're open. Let's see if they have ice cream. Okay, so the visitor center here is pretty great. I've got my ice cream. It's mango. I also bought a really cool t-shirt and a couple decks of playing cards. These, I think I have some, but not this kind, and I thought, you know, why not? It's just, ow, bug bite. Probably just a good idea to have something for quick punctures without having to replace my tube. And this one's for me, and this is for my friend. They're just super cool playing cards. Don't need these, but I couldn't leave without them, so I'm gonna eat my ice cream. I found a point of interest on the map that shows some kind of cemetery. So I took a little detour. There's this spot to leave bikes. So kind of looking at the trail, I don't think I'm going to want to take my bike up through there. So I'm just going to walk around and see what I see. Looks like I finally made it to the cemetery, but what is this? Can you see in there? Hang on. I can't seem to find a good spot where you don't see me in the video, but like, what is this? It's obviously something that a person made with like shingles and such. I think they look like shingles. Yeah, some of those are shaped, bugs, like shingles. But what is this? They don't have a plaque or anything. There's a cemetery here. Maybe it's like, no, there's too much reflection. Maybe some sort of structure here for the cemetery. I don't know. You could probably see sort of with this angle that it is sloped. It kind of looks like the top of a steeple or something, but you can't see anything because it's dark inside and all you can see are reflections. So let's move on to the cemetery. It looks like they're not super terribly old. It looks like this person died in 1902, just kind of for reference. But the shells are beautiful. And there's a few of them headed over this way. This person died at 4. The date says 1918, but it doesn't say if that's the birth or death year. I guess it doesn't particularly matter when she died at 4, but that's a small grave. This is in the fenced off section. It looks like there's maybe 2 graves inside that are marked. It looks like this guy was a Freemason. It looks like he died in 1890. Look at that. Just out in the middle of nowhere in the woods. I can't believe I didn't notice till just now. The cemetery has Spanish moss hanging from it. Beautiful. Look at that. definitely tricky to get to and not a whole lot to see, but I'm glad I took the time to stop here. Do you see it? I got spooked a little bit. That was a snake. I think it's just a black snake. It's climbing that tree. There it is right there. Sorry, it's not in focus. I have to zoom in a lot. They like to hang out in trees, I think, from what I've heard. There it is. Okay, so there's a problem. Everything's fine. I'm about 3.5 miles away from North Carolina, which is south from where we're staying in Virginia. But if you can see the trail here, it's sand here. I can't ride my bike through sand, unfortunately. I tried a little bit just to see, because there were some sections that were a little bit more packed. But my tires, like, I may as well walk at this point. I don't really want to walk 3.5 miles just to say I touched North Carolina. So, it's possible there's a way through that I could make it, but I kind of just feel like at this point it's not really fun. So let's just keep it fun and we'll turn back, and that'll be good. What does my GPS say? It looks like I've traveled about 13.27 miles at this point from where I started. So that'll be a solid ride. Maybe North Carolina will be another year. So let's turn back. So I didn't film an outro. It turns out it's hard to film in a house full of people, especially when you're trying to not get those people on the camera. The fiber I'm spinning is from Create Yarnworks. Unfortunately, as you can see, it's pretty felted and compacted in places, which is a bummer, but I've just been using my hand cards to smooth it back out again and spin from some really airy rollags. It's kind of disappointing. I kind of liked leaving the pockets of color separate from each other, so it's been ending up with a more blended look than I think I would like it to be, but I still do like the yarn, and it's not too much trouble to card it into rollags before spinning it anyway. It is my preferred preparation for spinning on the boarded spindles. The fiber itself is a blend of Merino, Camel, Mulberry silk, and baby alpaca in a 4-ounce braid. The color is Lavender. I actually have spun this fiber before in the pumpkin color, which is a nice orange, and I knitted that into a hat, and it's really nice. Most of the time when I spin, I like to spin from fleece that I've washed myself, but I've been enjoying picking up different braids at fiber festivals to spin specifically on my supported spindles. It's been fun. So you'll see in a little bit that I actually did a fair amount of plying off camera, and the reason I stopped is because I ran out of yarn on one of my spindles. So what I'm doing now is I'm spinning more on this spindle so that I don't have to do as much bracelet plying and then afterwards chain plying with a little bit left over. Typically when I do a 3-ply, one bobbin or spindle ends up running out sooner than everybody else, so either I decide that I have enough and I'll just stop and then use that remaining yarn for my next skein that I'm going to make, or like in this case, just make some more and just cram it on there the best that I can. Chain plying on a support spindle is possible, but it isn't my favorite. I try not to chain ply as often as I can get away with it. I planned a lot of crafting for this week and managed to do most of it and filmed none of it. I want to try selling items at our guild sales tent at a local fair in a couple of months, so for that I managed to weave 2 table runners with hand-spun yarn on my little rigid heddle loom. I almost finished knitting and binding off a big project before running out of yarn, which, of course, I quickly spun more yarn the day after we got home. I'm hoping to show that off in a future video because I think it's pretty neat. I've been spinning a lot since getting back, so I do have things to show in the next video. I've been keeping track of my yardage and individual skeins like I usually do, but I didn't bother to add it together for a Tour de Fleece total. I still don't think I'm going to be doing that, but I am still just enjoying spinning some different yarn than I usually make. I'll tell you about it next time if I don't wait too long in between videos. For future videos, I still kind of feel like it's a stretch to call this a Tour de Fleece video because we're not really doing Tour de Fleece, but in keeping of the theme of doing bikes and spinning together, I kind of want to do a bike camping trip with some spinning on the side in between riding my bike. So I don't know, hopefully the weather will be good for doing that in the near future. So keep an eye out for that one, I suppose. So I think that's gonna be it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.